let me increase the size. Okay, hopefully this is visible. JPS. We log into Hadoop. We log into Hadoop. Who am I? I'm the Hadoop. The user whom we have is Hadoop, right? So the user whom we have is Hadoop. So in this user whom we have or whom we are using now, we need to start our Hadoop. We need to start the daemons, because if you run JPS, the services which are running, they are what? They are only one, which is the terminal which is running here. All right, that's the process ID which we have there. So it's only one which is running. So what we need to do now, we need to do the following. We need to start them. Start or sh. All right, so let's start all of them. All right, so we make sure that all the daemons are working proper. As a good customer, most of the time, I like to start two so that I can be able to, either if one of the copies is not there, then I can be able to access another terminal. So here, let me also see those. Okay, clear the screen. All right, so I'm there. Let me minimize this. Hopefully none is okay. All my nodes are healthy or are fine. So the status is okay. Next, I'm going to start pig. First, let me check my file. I'm going to list. And in listing this, I believe we created a file called pig data or student. I think we stored something called student. Let me check student. Cut student. All right, so these are the students whom we have. These are the data which we created. All right, so all are in small letters. I think Vietnam is it in small letter. Thailand. Remember, in our previous class, we created this file, and I made a mistake of naming them in small letters. So if, for example, Vietnam is in a capital letter, and I have another Vietnam in a small letter, they will not match when I want to group them. So I have to make sure that all are in a small letter. So we have only one Thailand. Okay, Vietnam is one. That is okay. All right, so this is what we have here. So we have a student. So we group them. We say pig. We run on a local machine. The grant is there. And then we load a student. I call student load student. Look here. Here is something interesting. As I mentioned, pig takes everything. I can even load without giving them a schema, but it's not safe. I may say load student. Let's say as I can even specify as, for example, as ID, name, country. What was the last one? Rating. What is that? Okay, it can be loaded. If I dump student, it can give me whatever things I have loaded. So look, it does not throw an error. Does not throw any error, right? Regardless, this, the column which I have, it's just give me this, right? So I forgot what was the content of the table. That table, that's where here comes into place. It's a third student. So we have the ID, name, country. Okay, ID, name, country, and the rating. Okay. So once again, I come to this one. Let's say ID, name, country, rating. Oh, why is Jimmy different? ID, name, country, rating. Okay, correct. Some of them they didn't. Some of the students they didn't rate. Some of the students they didn't rate. Correct. For example, so I added more. Now let's try to check to describe. Let's say describe student road. Look, every data type we have here are what? Byte array. Byte array. This is a byte array. This is a byte array. Byte array. Even this byte array. Okay, byte array. Let's try to illustrate and see. Illustrate student. Illustrate student road. Where? Which error is? Why is not shown? This. Why is not showing? What happened to the student road? Okay. Illustrate. Is it correct spell? It's showing an error. Showing an error. I'm not sure if I'm correctly spelling it. All right. So the main part here, just to show you that the P can accept everything, right? So it can accept column, or it can even, it can even process the data without giving the proper schema, okay, or proper structure. But the dangerous of this is, if there's no schema, you cannot be able to perform certain, for example, group, it cannot work out. All right, that's why we prefer to give them the proper schema, the proper, type, so we can perform certain task on that data set which we have. So we have here student, again, road, student, using big storage. This is a default one, as we declared a schema. It's a reg number, int, and we have name, car, array, we have country, car, array, and the next we have what? We have late, let's say we have integer. All right. And again, we verify. This one we verify after some time. So we are going to perform the following, like grouping multiple columns. So we say group. We are going to group. Um, what can we group there? Two things. Okay, let me group with a match, register number, and the names. Okay, let's see. We can take register number and the names and see if they can be grouped. It's okay, but does not give much sense because they're not related. All right, so let's say group country. We group the country. We say group student road. We group the student road by country. This is what we performed for the first group. Dump group country. Okay, what happened? Why the file cannot be read? Okay, it's not reading the file. Let's check. This file open. Student. Okay. Again. Sorry. Home Hadoop. Okay. Let me specify the entire path. Home Hadoop and see if it will read it, right? So student road, everything's okay. Page storage. Correct. What happened to it? Pardon me? There's no red. Oh, this one? No red. We have a register number, name, country, and there's the last number which we have there. Let me try to change the name. ST Road. ST Road. What happened?
Can you check the student's
Student file?
Yeah.
So let me rename it. Let me keep 2 and see, right? This one I give TT and see if it will. Student T. I added extension T there. Let's see. Otherwise, after you start the, pick. Dump. Again. Fail to read. Okay, let me quit. And again, start it. Sometimes you need to be refreshed. Maybe because sometimes when I maximize like this, it's trying the same error. Yeah, so it needed to be refreshed, right? It needs to be refreshed. So the next part here, we group them by country, right? So let's group them by country, or group country or student and letting, ID and letting. Let's see if it can match. So we say CS2 group. So we say group ST road by ID. Is it a student ID, or let's say name, comma, country, and then we dump it. All right. So these are grouped in the way. Fun, Zambia. Yes, please. Which one? This one? This one? So we grouped multiple columns at the same time. So core group, it worked the same, and I gave you an assignment on that one, and you check it once again. The difference between these, group multiple columns is very efficient when you work on same file or same data set. Let's say you have a two data set which you want to group together, you can use the core group. Okay, that's where we have seen the core group has been used. So we wrote two data sets, and we have a core group them by country, right? Okay, great. So another part which we want to look today, as I mentioned this is going to be new. This is going to be based on filter. Okay, so we look at the filter. Just for your understanding, once again, filter, I'm going to use the word behave. Filter behaves like select in SQL, right? So it's going to act same as what? It's going to act as select from SQL, especially when you want to select particular, let's say, again, I mentioned here, this is one more point here. I mentioned here, filter helps to select particular column with a specific condition. All right. So we want to select particular column with a specific condition. For example, this is an example. Take an example. In SQL, what do? We say, for example, select country from student. This is an example where, let's say, ID, or where country is equal to, let's say, where country is equal to China, right? This is what we do. This part we do in SQL. This is an example of SQL. So this thing we can achieve in peak when you are working on a large data set and you want to select particular column or rows. So what we do here, let me end my comment session here. Please, I expect this from you. Just listen for a while. When you are going to submit, if you work on particular, if I give you an assignment, please give me a comment like this to guide me. Okay, you can write in a comment and then put in the PDF format so I can easily read your script and see what you have done. Video format. No, PDF. I mentioned video. PDF format. Yeah. So please make like this. Songnam, is it working? Works? The image will be. Is it working? So the one which you didn't say. Because I have no time. Is it fast? Is it fast? I forgot to ask. Not yet. Is it fast? No. Not yet. Not yet. All right. So now, so every time we do a command, you have to give me a comment. Comment like this. Yeah, you can give me a comment so I can read what you're doing, right? So now I end the comment there, right? So now we are going to filter. Now we are going to filter. So let's say we want to select a student from China only, all right? Instead of using group, we can use filter because the group is going to give us dictionary data type, or it can also give us charcoal. What I'm saying, when you use a group here, just here, group can produce the output in the form of tuples or dictionary. All right, so it's kind of grouped in that way. If you look at the previous group, you can see. All right, but now we are going to use a filter. We want to use a filter to do or to achieve our task there. So remember, we have student road, right? Let me check if you have ST. We have a student road, right? We have a student road. This is the one whom we have here, which I'm going to work on. So let's group them by country. For example, China. Let me again describe ST road. Oops. Described. So we are going to group them by country. The keyword is correct. Is a country. For example, we are going to select or to filter by country. So we're going to say this the following. We say filtered. I may give like filtered. Filtered. Let me give like this. Oh, this is okay. Filtered. All right. Or I may call here. I may call China. And I say, we do as follow. We say filter from where? ST road by what? ST road by country, where the country is equal to China. All right. So now we selected the country by China. Let's dump and see. Dump China. So we have this student. We have this student. These are from China. Okay. These are the students from where? From China. They're down here. Okay. These are students from China. All right. So now for you, you can even group from. You can group every country. Group from Malaysia. Group from what countries do we have? So group them. I mean, select them. Just like select. Select from or filter student by country where you put condition where that column is equal to the particular one. So you can group them like this. So you can group different countries from there and see how this filter, supports the following. Okay, and you can group once again. You group, let's say, you can filter. Sorry, I'm going to filter a student by what? Let's say by rating. Rate, right? We can rate to say describe. Sorry, describe steroid. So we have rate, right? The name is rate. Now I'm going to group, not me, you do this. Group, I mean filter by rate, filter the rate. Please filter the rate. Only rating. Yes, please. Did you say that? By rating. So did you write integer? Did you make group them by did you treat that by yes. Yeah, you can go for it. Who donated this to me? Somebody has donated.
Friday.
Oh, so sorry. I will.
This one should be okay, right? Because we're finding equal for some students that have a rating of 4 to 10. Okay, so characters use the
Yes, yes. Yes, yes. It's the first time you can. What about this?
so we need to modify the file to have the rating of
Rating, yes.
we need to add rating to it.
Which one?
Let's get the file.
Oh, I'm doing that. I just entered he could do
Yeah,
I was farming that.
so of course I still get, but I'm going to do the data offering the journal.
No problem. As long as you have the same.
So I just waited for
Before you go to the other
so I need to add one more.
Yes, put it on yes.
Oh, I know, it's just not all and just add one more.
Yeah.
Or release.
You did it. That's not.
So I need to add a rating, yeah, so that then I need to call it back.
unless you only want to say one person, okay, you're right.
So now, how you
There's I understand. I don't think in the math, there's like this.
sit down.
radically square. Now you will be in the middle. What is the key thing? Literal balance. You got 5 rounds before you have. Right. The characters will be same, but the people that isn't in the isn't in the what's that? Shit, I don't know story business. The machine that goes underwater submarine. Same if you don't get everyone to say that, it will be a problem.
You disable the skill. You disable the skill.
Possible question.
Also, I'll do that first.
But I just feel worried though. Eventually, will that you have the person?
I just start. Yeah, I was trying to figure out what I could do the entire time.
That's what. Yeah. Do not go down in the hole. That will go wrong. You can save more earnings. Volumes, you know, volumes, that's the one that goes. Good. Rather than a face or something. I was not so big. I was so good. Someone said, you want to follow my friends, help us do
Just figure out
for those students. They just the one that pay for we as not those we don't pay. We just have to. We can still do, but we pay with our.
I added some figures.
Do you have anyone that can fly?
Oh,
Flying was one of the things I could do. I more like this. The difficult for them was to achieve small fly over the bus.
I never understood the plan. I don't know how to use it.
Is that right? You gotta see roots.
Yeah. I have those stuff. That's the plan.
You go going under there, you're gonna shake everyone. I don't know if you want to say this. But for me, I have to get to the main factor. Any factor that is probably is there a bigger workshop?
Oh, you feel Laura.
push him away. I push him down so that he doesn't interfere with our factor, just everyone. And then I just remain perfect or something, myself down with you.
All right, shall we continue? Let's go on and look at the next part, which is which also is very important to use. The second part which you're going to use here the second part which you're going to use now, it's known as distinct. Okay, distinct. So what is the use of distinct?
Being specific.
Being specific. Mr. Rimson John. John, do you remember distinct? Do you remember?
Exactly that thing.
What does it use?
Using SQL that from that come up with exactly only that only that variable, something like that. Okay.
Is it what you remember?
Yes. SQL.
Yes.
Distinguish is to try to list the different
Exactly. That's the key. Distinct is used to eliminate the duplicate, keys or duplicate values. So it's very useful when you want to remove the data redundancy. Okay? So we use distinct. So that's the main purpose of using distinct, right? So I mentioned here, we say it is used for eliminating or removing the duplicate values. Okay, that's why we're going to use this thing. For example, let's again try to load our dump. Let's try to dump our ST road, student road, the one which we have. We have the presence of, let's say, do we have any duplicate student there? Let me try to add one more. Let me come back here. Let me come back here and I said, which one did we write at the first? Let's say nano. In a nano, let me add student. Let me try to add one more student. I call 16. I call, yeah, for purpose, yes, 16. So let me call once again 1 for a purpose. And I call Joe Rwanda 3. It's okay. So I save. Oops, permission denied. I exit. Say no. I say sudo nano. Where am I? What does it say? Okay, so let me add one more here. Okay. Let me come back here. Let me try to dump decency. Oh, which one did we take? Did we take student TT? I think we wrote the student TT. Student TT, yeah, we wrote the student TT. Let me again update student TT. Sorry. Okay. Right. All right. So this is it. Let me dump once again here. Let me rest here. So it's here. So to use this distinct, we want to eliminate the duplicate data, right? So we want to eliminate the duplicate data. For example, here we have the presence of Joe, and we have also presence of Joe here. So let's try to eliminate this, this by using distinct. For those who came late, we mentioned about the use of the distinct. So that's what we're going to use here. So to do so, we say, let's say D. I just want to put them in the D. I say distinct is the rod. All right, and I dump D. So as you can see, Joe is removed. Remember, the one which we had was what? We had a duplicate value there. It was a duplicated. So we removed them. So we removed that Joe who were there. We do once again. Let me try to see, for example, I'm going to add one more. I'm going to add one more with a different. I'm going to add one more with a different ID, but same name, with the same purpose. Okay. Let us add one more with the different ID, right? Different ID, but same name and same letting and see. Or different ID, same ID, but different names and see, right? Say different ID, but let's say the name are the name are changed. Like, for example, we want to have inconsistency. We have same ID, but instead of starting by Scott, Malaysian, I may have, for example, uh, who has the two names? Nobody has the two names. Okay, no, nobody has the two names. Okay. I have different same ID. I want to have the same ID, but Joe, Wanda. Okay, we don't have two names. Okay, we can create another file here, just to mention this one, to focus on this. Come here, let's create one more file. A file which you're going to create is going to be, again, same student. We use the same student file, but let's create one more student we call student detail. Okay, this is going to be known as nano student detail. Inside student detail, we have ID. It can be Winia, that's a first name. Let's say the last name is going to be Winia K. Let's say Winia Kun. Pardon me. Okay, Winia Ku. And The country is from Myanmar. Now let me correct it. Capital letter. Myanmar. And again, I have a 2. I have a enter do, and it's from Myanmar, and I have a 3 rim Zin Malaysia, and I have 1. I have Ku. The first Ku was it in capital letter. The first one is capital letter, right? And the Winia, or let me use a and do. I have a 2. I have do. I have and I have Myanmar, right? I have Myanmar. I think this one will remove. I think this will also remove. What I want to achieve is I want to have like redundant of data instead of having the first name. Okay. If I say remove or distinct, we'll check the column, we'll check the ID and remove them. Let me give and see. Okay, let's put here. Sorry, 4. So okay, let's start to see. Let's start to think on this one. What I want to think, what I want to listen with you. Let's say we have the student. So, error. If we have the same ID, it will be easy to remove the redundant, right? But I want to think in this way. Instead of taking the first name, for example, he gave his last name as a first name and first name as a last name. So we want to remove this redundancy, right? With the same ID, let's say 1, 1, but he gave there. If we check the distance, we'll be able to remove that one. So if we're going to give the same, we'll be okay. So that's okay. Oh, I don't need ID. I just want to. Let me remove the ID and see. We see here. Remove the ID. Just work on this, only this few column here. Let's remove this ID. So we have a Winia, Ku, Myanmar, So, Edo, Myanmar, Lim, Zinjun, Malaysia, Do, So, Myanmar, and say Zu, Dawe, China, Dawe, Zu, China. Okay, so we put like this way. Remember, this is student details. And exit, Y, save, student detail. Let me rename to student names. Okay, so I have a student name, right? So I have a student name, right? I change student name. Instead of student details, that student name is okay. So let me come back to the Pigratin here. We wrote, it's a student names. We wrote student name using pick storage. The storage which you have is this one. As what? As first name, car array, last name, car array, and country. Okay, country. We dump, we describe is okay. Student names. So this is what we have: first name, last name, and a country as well, right? And the country as well. Oh, we didn't specify which type. Okay. Let me change this one. Country. Car array. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So now we have all as follows. We have all these as follows. So now I want you to do this. I want you to group student, group all of them by first name, group is group student by group multiple column. Okay, just let me write here for you to do it. Right. So this is for you to do. Group student by their first name, first and last name. Last names. After you finish to group them, then filter or distance to them or remove the redundant, the duplicate from student. Yeah. Student names. Try and see. 2 in 1, right? After you finish that one, also you can, okay, group will be only one because we have only the single table there. The next one is the information. Look at the main part. Yes.
Is this what?
Okay. Yes, that's correct. Yes. Or you can use multiple ways, right? You can even use a filter. You can use a filter where names, equal to this, and then it's going to bring all of them. And then you remove the data. them. Okay. Okay. Now, one more interesting part as you do that one. It's very sweet for you to use it. Very sweet like honey. The next part, which is very sweet. Are you still working on this? Can I go next?
It's recorded.
I don't want to go fast because
Still trying to install people.
the first half you mentioned that I was very fast. Like, okay. So, I want to go fast. Mario, just start with video discussion. Now,
Just switch education.
reason why you access if you access spend one website time and sorry. But the one which you have to but I think it's the right. Yes, but what it is because the question now is correct. Yeah. Shall I go next? Can I wait or go next?
You may go next.
Okay. The next part here, which I mentioned to be much more sweet for you to do. The next part which I want you to observe is known as Foreach, right? Foreach. In earlier, I mentioned something called, did I mention Foreach? Did you use Foreach? Not yet. I mentioned somewhere where we want to select particular countries. I think it was about the filter. Filter can work up to one column. It can work up to one column. Listen to me for a while, please. Filter, it can work up to one column. But Foreach can give us ability to select more than 2 columns. One more interesting Foreach is Foreach, it can even help you to perform some calculation. I'll write down here. Foreach, just for you here, Foreach can enable us to perform certain, not all of them, certain calculation. For example, we want to find the total number of students, total number of students, all right, or total marks, and so we can use this Foreach. Foreach also, it goes along with Foreach is used along with generate. Generate means on this particular column, I want you to generate a particular column. Okay, we use this keyword called the generate. Okay, we use this keyword called generate. All right, generate. So, for example, we want to in the data set which is selected, we use this data set called student name. That's mine. I give the name as a student name. So in the student name here, we have the student name which we selected here. So we want to select first and the last name. Okay, first and the last name. So we can use Foreach to achieve that one. If you do this, then you can remove the redundancy. Let's see. Let's try to see here. Here we say, first let me describe student names. So I have the last name and the first name. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to do say like this one, 4 names. I'm going to call these are 4 names. Or for each name, I'm going to call for each name. Then I say here I will do as well. I say for each student names. Okay, I want to generate for each generate. I'm going to generate what? I'm going to generate first name, and last name. All right, I want to generate first name and the last name. Let's see. Now let me dump this one. Dump for each name. Did I mention wrongly or what? Oh yes. Yes, thank you. For each name. There we go. Now we generated only the names, particular names. Linear code. The problem, as you can see, there are double, so let me remove that one. So that is not supposed to be there. We can either specify like this, the following. We don't need to keep them here. So they can be removed. So we can have them like this. Now, this is what we have. Can you try to distinct and see if the duplicate will be removed? Yeah, distinct. This is what I was thinking. Can you try to distinct and see? Sir? Can you distinct? Can you try to distinct? Yeah, it's a distinct. Yes.
Which one do you have? So the Foreach.
Yeah, Foreach. Was the previous one. Which one is that? Which one is that? All right, can we? I think it's. Let me try to download this and see. Now, let me try to see this one. This is the one which I have here. Okay, so that way. Okay, let's say this distinct. Foreach name. Okay, it's still considering them here. It is still considering them here. Right. Now we can keep going. It's still considering them here. What do we do? This will force us to put the next line. The next line, which is called join. I reserve this for the next class because if we combine all this together, then it will, I think the time will not be sufficient. But I can give you the theory of what we shall see for that one. And I give you some exercise to perform on the given part. You can also do the following. Do this. This one, the continuity. Look here. Give me a second here. Give me a second. Soido, Matrix. Give me a second here. Just give it time. There's something else which you can do. You can also select particular column by mentioning the index key, index position. Okay, what I'm saying, the index position starts from 0 till to n minus 1, right? To n minus 1. What do I say? Means what? For example, we had first name, last name, and what was the second? The last one was country, right? Country. That was the column. So first name here, I want to mention first name. First name is positioned, is a position on 0, position 0, like arrays. You remember the array? We start from 0. This is 0, 1, 2. Okay. First name is position 0. Last name 1. Country is 2. So country is like n minus 1. How many n's are there? N means the number of variables we have there. They are the number of columns, and there are 3. So the last one will be n minus 1. We have n. N is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. So we start from 0, 1, and 2. Clear? 0, 1, and 2. So you can generate, or you can be able also to select the the particular column by using that 1 minus 2 as it is mentioned there. So how can we achieve that one? How are we going to achieve that particular part? Parts. This particular part. Let's say for each, let's say position, I say for each student name, generate. I'm going to generate. We start with the dollar. Generate. Let's say 0, comma 1. All right. These also we can use them. So what did you get? We generate from position 0 and the position 1. Right? So this also you can use it. So this will use